So the last time that we heard from Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Theranos, it was in 2016, and she just did her first interview since then yesterday in the New York Times. And I was kind of shocked to find this out because I just finished The Dropout on Hulu, where she was played by Amanda Seyfried. I want to kind of explain, if you guys don't know, what the whole situation is about, what the whole scandal was.
Go for it.
So she made this company called Theranos when she was like 18, 19 years old. And it was a charade the whole time. And she was basically found out when she was about 30, 32 range. Basically, it sold a product/service that you could prick someone's finger and get a drop of their blood, and it would perform the same blood tests that vials of their blood would, right? Yep. So you could test them for diseases, test their vitamin levels, stuff that has like serious consequences for their healthcare. And it was all a sham the entire time. The machines that they used didn't work. What they did was they would take a drop of that person's blood and dilute it in water, and then just use the same machines that they use for normal blood tests and just give them fake results. So it gave people fake cancer diagnosis.
What?
It gave them fake HIV diagnosis, fake miscarriage diagnosis. Literally, like, made people think that they were on the brink of death by getting fake test results.
And then her excuse is like, but don't you feel great now that you know that that's not true?
And you know what? She got away with it because a lot of people felt good about themselves and pat themselves on the back because they wanted to see a girl boss with red lipstick on the cover of Forbes magazine in the 30 under 30 list.
So what you're telling me is that when a woman... I'm going to stop myself before saying...
No, please continue.
Before saying what please the hell continue. I was going to say. Nope, never mind.
All right.
I just want to say right here, if I saw... Woo! She looks absolutely... she looks batshit crazy in this photo.
She has the crazy eyes.
She has the eyes of a psychopath. She really does.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone ever fell for this.
Like, I see those eyes... But she was kind
of like a messiah of girl bossery.
I don't think, like, when I see those eyes, I don't see somebody who wants to give me a cancer diagnosis or tell me information about my health situation. That looks like somebody who throws your clothes out the second floor of a house while screaming at you and threatening to lighting it all on fire.
Gaslighter.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's exactly what she was. She also was notorious for speaking with this fake, hoarse, low voice that's more like commanding than a young woman would ordinarily have. And
does she do this a lot?
Yeah. Steve Jobs is her idol.
In the portrayal by Amanda Seyfried, she would constantly purse her lips and like nod at you like, yeah, well, when you're doing something revolutionary, people should ask questions. Asking questions is a good thing. And then she just wouldn't answer any of your questions.
So she's just insanely high.
Yeah, crazy eyes. So basically this piece in the New York Times was a total puff piece. And I don't mean that an exaggeration at all.
Because they love criminals.
They love criminals, and it's feminist if you're female into criminal.
She's got to have a Netflix show soon.
Well, they already did that on Hulu, but they were also going to do... They were all...
How do I know?
They were going to do a movie of her played by Jennifer Lawrence, but then Jennifer Lawrence backed out of it. I think because of the Hulu series.
Probably because she found out she couldn't be the first female to end up screwing over
She wouldn't
a bunch
be
of people.
shattering that glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And then also Kate McKinnon was in the running for the Hulu show before Amanda Seyfried. But anyway, this article is just absolutely bonkers insane. Here, I'll just read some quotes. One, Ms. Holmes' defenders said that the feverish coverage of her downfall felt like a witch trial, less rooted in what actually happened at Theranos and more of a message to ambitious women everywhere. Don't girl boss too close to the sun or this could happen to you.
Dude, they can't even commit fraud. It's like fraud.
You could literally kill people doing this.
And they're like, you know what? It's fine because you're shattering the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
They basically excused her of all of her deception because she had to do that because people underestimated her because she's female.
I could just imagine
they underestimated the product that didn't exist.
I could just imagine the editor in the newsroom being like, yes, it's time for women to be bloodthirsty psychopaths. Get over it.
You underestimated someone who wasn't who they said they were. Good for you.
Can I say, this is the sickest part of me, but some of my favorite videos on the internet is people that have been recently fired from like Google, BuzzFeed, being like, this is what I do as an unemployed single woman at DC. And I'm like, oh,
There's the one lady who's like getting the call that I just lost my job.
Go get that $20 coffee
crying.
again.
Like this, like here I am applying for unemployment. Like that's and look, and nobody's laughing at people who lose their job. That's not good.
No.
However, I will
Except for Elizabeth Holmes, I'm
except
laughing
for
at her.
like I'm serious. Like
Her former sorority sister was quoted here saying, "There's an unspoken lesson for female executives. You're allowed to be successful, but not too successful." Yeah, that was definitely Elizabeth Holmes's crime, is she was just too successful. She was too much of a girl boss.
Wasn't there a point in time when like 3 of the main arms dealers in America, like arms manufacturers, were all run by women? I think that was like Boeing.
Really?
Yeah, there was a time when like a bunch of like our weapons manufacturers were like run by women. I was like,
Interesting.
I was like,
as long
boss.
as they're not the ones operating those weapons.
Yes.
When told that Jennifer Lawrence pulled out of portraying her in a movie, Elizabeth Holmes replied, quote, "They're not playing me. They're playing a character I created."
So maybe just the character should go.
self-pity is
Maybe just the character should go to
palpable.
jail, not her.
And why did she create that public persona, I ask? "I believed it would be how I would be good at business and taken seriously and not taken as a little girl or
Hell
a
yeah.
girl who didn't have good technical ideas." Newsflash, you were a little girl who didn't have good technical ideas. So you're correct. Your imposter syndrome wasn't imposter syndrome. You just were an imposter. Like, that's insane.
Here I am every day worrying about whether I can do this job or not, and she's over here like, so what if the product I made doesn't actually exist?
Her feigned low voice was, quote, "a sign of the impossible gymnastics that female founders must perform to be taken seriously."
Tell that to all of the women who run like there's female heads of modeling agencies that don't need to do a deep voice to gain attention or respect.
Gay men certainly don't have to.
Sorry, like not a thing.
When I was young, I wanted to be a journalist so bad.
Oh, wow.
But for moral reasons. Because in my mind, it's like, oh, like what could be more moral than a journalist?
Well,
you know?
okay. I will say
Theoretically.
journalists aren't totally trash
Did you
because
know
a journalist at the Wall Street Journal was the one that blew the cover on Theranos to begin with.
Fair. But imagine being the person that gets assigned, listen, so you got to defend this lady that would give people fake diagnoses. Okay? And the person that, oh, I'm being really good at self-censoring today. And that person's going to be like on it, you know? And,
Got it, boss.
but how? How do you do it, you know?
It's just they're so freely doling out these sympathy brownie points to Elizabeth Holmes when she could have killed people. In fact, she almost kind of did, because one of her employees was threatened so harshly to stay at the company and was like harassed by private investigators until he killed himself. He literally killed himself while working at this company because he used to be their head of chemistry, and when he started asking questions about the chemistry, they just put him in a desk job up in the front office, and they were like, just sit here and do nothing all day for 4 years. And he was like, shit, I have to stay here to have health care for my cancer.
Oh my God.
And then he killed himself. So yeah, quite literally, this is exposing the
Wow.
monstrousness of women, which is a taboo in our society that we can't talk about.
Dude, isn't it though? Isn't that like the taboo? Like,
And that's why these shows keep doing so well, because people love the female true crime stories. We're not allowed to criticize women except for when they literally murder people. And even then, it's a stretch. So
Well, what did he do to deserve it? It's the female version of why was he dressed that way?
there were a lot of, I actually listed out here the reasons that they're trying to get you to sympathize with her. Number one, she has a story of being raped when she was in college in 2003 that changed the trajectory of her life and made her drop out of school to start her business.
Okay.
And the cops didn't press charges, and no one believed her because it was 2003 and we live in a patriarchy.
have you
blah,
guys
blah.
ever watched Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Dude, in Shark Tank, every time a pitch is going down, it's like, listen, I was molested at 12. Like they literally just
Really?
go for it every time, and
The
there's
trauma
like
dumping ensues.
every time they just start crying. It's like and it's like, okay, well, you got to pitch.
All right, here's $1 million.
Basically.
Yeah. She now volunteers 12-hour shifts to a rape crisis hotline because she's such a good person. Another thing, she is now a doted mother to 2 babies. One is a son named William, and another is a daughter named Invicta, which means invincible in Latin.
Oh my God.
And she has a dog named Teddy, and she's in love with her boyfriend, Billy.
Maybe Billy tried to sell her a birth control pill that you could take with just a prick of the finger.
It's so
and it
funny.
didn't work.
They asked Billy, what do you do for work, while he was taking work calls? And he was like, oh, just investing in businesses and stuff. And he just wouldn't elaborate. So he's probably doing a different scam entirely. She's now buried in legal fees that she will never get to pay. Boo-hoo, so sad.
When does she go to jail?
It's supposed to be, it keeps getting delayed because she keeps getting pregnant.
Really?
And that's another
That's
thing.
kind of incredible. You can just do that forever, just until like by the time she's done, she's gonna be 40 years old. She
Yeah.
just keep getting pregnant.
She's
she
like
keeps-
reverse
she,
Chelsea Handler.
Strategically files appeals with her pregnancies, and she's like breastfeeding in court and stuff. So she's going to be facing over 11 years. Probably less when it's all said and done, but 11 years right now
11
is the
years.
sentence.
I feel like any guy would be like 10
You know
times
what's
life.
worse? Her boyfriend, who was the co-conspirator in all of this, who ran the company with her since 2009, he got 13 years.
Obviously.
And he's serving it right now.
Hell yeah.
And also, she now claims that same boyfriend, Sonny Balwani, abused and controlled her and the company and hid all of their shady tech secrets from her through the entire process.
Oh, she never knew.
So she's also dumb.
She was just a sweet
yeah.
little innocent baby who was lied to about the technology, and he was the mean man that met her when she was 18 and indoctrinated her and made her his plaything.
It's amazing how being a girl boss is also very much akin to being a toddler.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Lock her up, dude.
From her to Sonny Balwani, you are the breeze in desert for me, my water and ocean, meant to be only together, tiger. Meant to be only together,
Yeah,
tiger.
they would call each other
Balwani.
tiger.
Okay.
And the
I hate it.
physiognomy on her is
hate it.
undefeated.
As she explained it, Sonny Balwani kept close control over her every action.
Of course.
She detailed extensive domestic abuse and sexual assault. She said that Sonny Balwani forced her to stop speaking to family and friends. She didn't have friends, that's a lie. And pressured her to adopt the black turtleneck, red lipstick persona. Quote, he always told me I needed to kill Elizabeth so I could become a good entrepreneur. This doesn't even sound real. This sounds like a movie. And they made a movie about it.
American Psycho, yeah.
She lived by his entrepreneurial tenets that included not sleeping for more than 5 hours, going vegan, drinking green juice, getting to the office daily by 5 a.m., and not drinking alcohol.
You ever seen that video? Like it's the video where he's like, it's like every financial podcaster. It's like you wake up at 2:30 in the morning and you make an LLC. Now you own NBC. You sell NBC and you buy a Komodo dragon. And he's like, and then you fast for like 372 months.
And she fell for the meme.
Yeah, she did basically.
Here's her playing dumb. Quote, it was only when people started to raise questions about the company that I started to see he was not who I thought he was in the business. And then that made me start to question everything else.
What a legend.
Women really do exist on easy mode. I'm sorry.
And in the show, in the Dropout, there's this incredible scene where they're alone and they're getting found out, and this piece in the Wall Street Journal comes out, and she starts heavy gaslighting him to make him think it was his scheme all along. So she's like, if you did something wrong, then you can just tell me. I care about you and we can fix it together. Like, but I need you to tell me if you did something wrong, because I don't know. And
He's like, didn't you sign this form? She's like,
we met so long ago. Like, you've been in my life for so long, since I was what? Barely 18?
Dude, I am legitimately fascinated by female psychopathy. Like that chick that
You should watch the show then.
Well, it's because
maybe, yeah.
It's because male psychopathy is often more brutal and like physically brutal, whereas female psychopathy is way more terrifying.
I think it's because
you can only die once. You can die 1,000 deaths from a female psychopath.
I think it's because when guys get caught, they just become sullen and they're just brooding and like, oh my god, whatever's coming is gonna be horrible. But when women get caught, they just like they start wailing and
like, I don't know what happened.
It's like, what?
I don't know what happened.
Is this wrong? I don't know what's being right. And then
and it's working. In this example, it is literally working. People in the media are now sympathizing with her.
That's why, honestly, Jesse Smollett is kind of genius because he just went the chick mode.
He kind of did.
Yeah.
Tried and true method of getting people to believe you.
This is
It's not just females who can be whammon, apparently. Also, another funny detail. After the company was dissolved and she ended her relationship with Sonny Balan, she immediately found a new boyfriend who was in his early 20s, and that is Billy Evans. They went to Burning Man together.
Oof.
And she, at Burning Man, burned an effigy of Theranos to mourn the loss of her company. And ever since has just been living her dream life on the run with the love of her life. Don't you love that trajectory
just
for
remember, guys, women can be evil too.
And it's so funny how this stupid journalist openly admits that she's falling for it. It's like she's gentle and honest in a quiet way. and you can't help but listen to her and believe her and just be taken into her fantasy.
It's almost like that's what made the whole con work in the first place.
That's why she was a cult leader.
She likes bagels.
Nice job.
But with not too
bagels.
much cream cheese. It's like, what?
Your job as a journalist is to question and doubt everything that you're hearing.
Yep.
Instead of idolizing the person that you're interviewing. That's insane.
I just can't anymore with these people. I can't.
I have seen Elizabeth Holmes fan cams.
Oh my goodness.
And Anna Sorokin, but even Anna Sorokin is not nearly as bad of a person, obviously, because all she did was trick other rich people into thinking that she was rich.
Yeah.
What are chicks gonna do when we have like AI lawyers? And AI
lawyers.
Yeah, and AI lawyers like she is being emotionally manipulative to reframe the crime.
We need to recalibrate it.
Yeah.
I can't with it.
Those are going to be biased as hell.
I'm telling you right now, like if you look at this picture and you don't get the fear that something is off, you haven't looked. You need to spend more time. Go to the mall, go to an airport, people watch more. Because if you see this face, run.
She can't smile.
I wonder if she's watched the show as well. She's so self-obsessed, she might have. And she's one of those women who I fully, admit that I'm one of them, who you can see the whites around her iris all the time.
You can see it's like if their eyes are wide enough that you can see around the
when
eyeball,
you're introducing a new technology, people should ask questions, and that's a good thing. Like
she's literally in villain pose, like the ha ha, like the
Mr. Burns.
Yeah,
she's like Mr. Burnsing. Right
excellent.
And the sick part is like after she got exposed, she was calling up all her investors and board members and being like, "This is obviously just sexism. They don't like to see a woman in power."
Does she kind of look like Chelsea Clinton to anyone?
A little bit, but skinnier. Definitely skinnier.
There you go. Family of
hotter.
psychopaths. There you go.
But she's not high enough that I
Not
think she
hotter.
could really get away with this, but she did it.
She's just a different four,
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.